Hello, gorgeous people, fit people. Are we fit today? I'm just about to upload today's fitness video. I just wanted to tell you about the importance of a warm-up. Now, I do a lot of ballet every day. I do ballet every day, and now I'm doing my Keep Fit videos every day. So I know the importance of really warming up. But even if you're going to do whatever you're, oh, that was a cat, flying cat into the four-poster. Even if you're preparing for a seated fitness session, because a lot of elderly people, they can't stand up, balance starts to go, doesn't it? Hello, darling, you're joining in the podcast. And, sitting on a chair and exercising your arms, you don't want to be suddenly, throwing them up in the air and up and down, or grabbing your little mini weights and doing some reps. That's a repeated amount of, say, lifts, as if you were, how do I explain that? You've got your arms down by your sides, and then you're bending from the elbow and you're lifting up with a weight. You wouldn't want to go straight into that without doing your little warm-up. And there are lots of different things that you can do to warm up. I mean, one is walking on the spot. And because I do ballet bar, I don't teach ballet bar. Don't get me wrong, I practice ballet bar every day with my tutor. But it's a really good idea to hold on to something like the kitchen sink. You could hold on to the kitchen sink to do some little leg bounces or some little leg raises. And you could move sideways, and you could do similar stretches and lunges, little sideway lunges. You keep it really small. And you can do that whilst holding one hand onto the sink or a chair. A lot of people use a chair. I've got a ballet bar, which I love, and it doesn't take up a lot of room because I sort of slide it somewhere. It just looks like it should be there. I use it as a room divider. It's really cool, but it is purple. But I love my ballet bar, and I slide it in and out every day. And it's just perfect, actually, for what I need for my requirements. It's quite good to have these things. But you might find something else that, really works. Some kind of, screen or table. It have to be a high table. But the back of a chair, usually, a little... a big armchair is quite difficult to get behind if it's against a wall, so that's not going to work, is it? But, I've got a little antique wooden chair, which I have used when I haven't got my bar out for whatever reason. So even with your little warm-ups, if you're a bit unstable on your feet, do put an arm somewhere, just to hold yourself steady. And you'll find even by doing that, you can do it both sides. You don't want one side to become too strong and the other a bit weaker, unless you've got a condition. And even using that support, you will find actually that your muscles really strengthen. It's amazing when you do the same sort of exercises each day. It's amazing how quickly the strength builds up. And this is where exercise and physio sort of fuse together, and they become, one and the same thing. Physio is usually about deep muscle penetration and strengthening. And so is most of the work that I'm doing now, most of the fun stuff. So the warm-up as well, you could, if you're sitting down, if you can't use your legs, you still need to warm up your arms. So how would you do that? Well, rolling of the shoulder is a really good one. So roll it back and roll it forward and try and get quite big. You can do that with your hands on your thighs in a seated position. Okay, and shaking the hands. We do this as cellists and violists. We often shake the hand, especially the bowing hand, just to make it nice and relaxed and loose. We want everything loose, and when you're bending and stretching, the last thing you want are tense joints and muscles. You want to relax everything into it. There's a time to tense muscles and a time to relax them. And you get to know that by loosening up, and your brain understands the difference between what is a tense muscle and what is a relaxed muscle. Do you see what I mean? So shaking those hands out is a very, very good way. And then just doing some little swimming motions. I do a lot of mime swimming for my Keep Fitness shows. So, you can do a bit of breaststroke, and if you're feeling up to it, you can do a backstroke. That's quite a difficult one. and you can do a front crawl. And, twisting and shaking and all of these things. And that's really your warm-up done. But I would always spend a couple of minutes minimum doing that warm-up. And then when you move on to the exercises, only do really what you feel you're able to do. And the last thing you want to do is frighten yourself or push yourself. There's no need to push yourself, especially if you're recovering from injury or if you're a little bit infirm. Pushing yourself is a very personal experience and should be done really, if you're not sure, under guidance. Of course, it's difficult to get a doctor and, to say to him, is it all right if I do some keep fit? I mean, this idea that you can speak to your doctor is, it used to be very easy, but now it's very hard. But certainly, get some advice from perhaps the nurse at the pharmacy or something like that could be quite helpful. But don't push yourself beyond your expected limits unless you have really some understanding of what you're doing, or perhaps you've got somebody there. Because then if there's anything like a fall, if you're seated, hopefully there won't be a fall. It's quite difficult to fall when you're seated. So that's a really good way to start. And then maybe, if you're using a Zimmer, for example, you could use your Zimmer as your support with both hands and just do some little leg raises, tiny little leg raises, and you'll be surprised how things like that can really help. Now in the mornings, if you're suffering from arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis particularly, you're going to be really stiff in the mornings. So this is where the days of leaping out of bed are long gone. I mean, even I don't leap out of bed anymore. Turn, awake and give yourself some time to wake up and turn off the bed. But if you're not able to do that, do some toe twitching and just make sure the blood starts to go to your extremities. Then turn and put your legs down on the floor and have them really stable and just do some foot lifts and some ankle twists and start, moving your hands and your arms. And you want to warm up that the blood will start flowing if you start moving your digits. It's amazing how the heart, is obviously when you get a bit older, it gets a bit tired, but the heart knows what it's doing. So it will start pushing blood to these extremities. And then, you get used to that movement and then you support yourself and then you can get up off the bed. Lots of people have to do this. And you just have to get your mind used to make that a habit. And you'll find you're less prone to falling flat on your face or flat on your bum as soon as you get out of bed if you've spent a little bit of time preparing for it. And this is the same with exercise. This is the same with all the exercises that we do. We always do a warm-up. So after the warm-up, we have stretches that we must do, but we'll talk about that in another podcast. So guys, welcome to Elderescence. It's an absolute pleasure to talk to you. Please do join my OnlyFans channel. It's all safe for work. There's nothing untoward on there. It's probably the most pure and angelic channel on OnlyFans, and it's just for us oldies, really. It's especially for mature people to enrich their lives through the arts. So we've got some stories coming today and some poetry, and all the podcasts are free over there, so that's really good. And there's lots of links to lots of things. It's a brand new channel, so bear with me for a couple of weeks while I get it going, but we're very, very excited to be doing this. And I'm also on Lounges TV, by the way. Oh, and I've got a website. Of course I've got a website. 2 websites, tellteleclub.com and iServalan.com. And that's where you can find the art. And guess what? We're going to be doing art classes and crafting all weekend, this weekend. I'm so thrilled. I cannot wait to show you some really cool stuff that I've been doing, to enrich our lives and keep that loneliness at bay. There's a lot of lonely people in the world, and it's terribly sad, and there's no need to be lonely when I'm around, because you can listen and you can chat on my OnlyFans and you can chat on the website. I will answer all emails. I always answer your emails, your introductions, and it's a place for enrichment and growth. So please do feel free to drop me a message if you're struggling with any type of, isolation, and we can put our heads together and maybe come up with something, some solutions, just to make things a little bit more interesting. And hey, I tell you what's really good, bit of poetry writing. Yeah, let's do it. We've got this, guys. We've got this.